always be silent, cut all contacts. Good morning, champions. Today, I want to talk about a concept that will radically shift your perspective and amplify your potential. It might sound counterintuitive, but it holds profound power. Always be silent, cut all contacts. Now, before your mind races to conclusions, let me explain. This isn't about shutting the world out permanently or abandoning your relationships. It's about understanding when to pull back, realign, and reclaim your power. Life is noisy. Opinions, judgments, endless distractions, and constant connections demand your attention. But here's the truth: you cannot pour your energy into everything and everyone while building the life you want. To create transformation, sometimes you have to step into silence and detach from anything that doesn't serve your purpose. Why? Because greatness is born in solitude. Success is fueled by clarity, and freedom is achieved when you let go of what's weighing you down. So are you ready to step into your power? Let's dive into how silence and disconnection can unlock the best version of you. Silence sparks clarity. When you quiet the noise of the world, you hear the voice that matters most, your own. Silence helps you uncover what truly drives you and realign with your purpose. Cutting contacts isn't abandonment, it's prioritization. Not everyone and everything deserves your energy. Letting go of toxic relationships, draining commitments, or superficial connections clears space for the meaningful ones. Energy flows where focus goes. By stepping into silence and pulling away from distractions, you redirect your focus toward your dreams, goals, and values. That's where transformation happens. Solitude builds resilience. Spending time alone doesn't make you weak, it makes you unshakable. It's in solitude that you cultivate self-discipline, strength, and confidence. The power of no. Every time you say yes to something unaligned, you're saying no to your purpose. Cutting contacts is a declaration that your time and energy are sacred. Rebirth through isolation. Think of it like a caterpillar in a cocoon. Transformation happens when you step back, retreat, and allow yourself to grow. Silence is the cocoon where greatness is born. Reconnection becomes intentional. When you emerge from silence, you'll reconnect with people and opportunities that genuinely uplift you. This isn't the end of relationships, it's the rebirth of meaningful ones. Remember, this silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Cutting contacts isn't cruelty, it's courage. So I challenge you today, step into your silence, disconnect from distractions, and watch as your clarity, power, and purpose explode into life. Because the world needs the best version of you. And you'll only find that version when you embrace the courage to be silent and let go. Now go out there and build your empire. Does this align with the style you were looking for? Silence sparks clarity. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of focus. In a world that's constantly screaming for your attention, silence is where you finally hear the truth. It's where clarity emerges, not as a whisper, but as a roar. When was the last time you truly stopped, turned off the noise, and listened to your inner voice? For most people, the answer is never. We live in a time where distractions are disguised as opportunities. Every ping of your phone, every email in your inbox, every headline screaming for your attention, it's all designed to pull you away from yourself. But clarity doesn't come from chaos, it comes from creating space. And that space begins with silence. Silence is a meeting with yourself. It's uncomfortable because it forces you to confront your thoughts, your fears, and your dreams. Most people avoid it because they don't like what they might find. But what if instead of running, you embraced it? What if you stepped into that silence with curiosity instead of fear? Think about the greatest breakthroughs in history. They didn't happen in the middle of chaos. They happened in solitude. Einstein didn't discover the theory of relativity while scrolling through social media. He found it in deep thought. The same is true for you. Your clarity, your next breakthrough is waiting for you in the stillness. When you embrace silence, you start to notice things you've ignored for years. You realize the answers were always inside you, buried under layers of noise and distraction. You don't need anyone else to tell you what to do. You already know. Silence just gives you the courage to listen. Silence teaches you to trust yourself, to trust that you're capable of making the right decisions, to trust that your intuition is stronger than anyone else's advice. It's not about disconnecting from others, it's about reconnecting with you. And let's be real, clarity is power. Without it, you're just spinning your wheels, working hard, but going nowhere. But when you're clear, every step you take is purpose. Every action has meaning. Clarity is what turns dreams into reality. Silence isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. It cuts through the noise, the confusion, and the lies. It shows you what matters and what doesn't. It simplifies your life, not by taking things away, but by revealing what's truly important. In silence, you rediscover your why you wake up in the morning, why you do what you do, why you keep pushing forward. And when you're clear on your why, nothing can stop you. Silence also helps you see the big picture. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind that you lose sight of what you're working toward. But when you step back and get quiet, you remember. You reconnect with your vision. And here's the kicker: clarity isn't a one-time thing, it's a practice. You don't just find it once and keep it forever. You have to work at it day in and day out. That's why silence is so important. It's the reset button you need to stay aligned with your goals. So I challenge you to make silence a part of your life. Schedule it. Protect it. Treat it like the sacred time it is. Because in that silence, you'll find everything you've been looking for. And when you find that clarity, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Cutting contacts isn't abandonment, it's prioritization. Let me ask you something: who's in your corner? Who's helping you build your dreams, and who's quietly tearing them down? This isn't an easy question to answer because most people don't even realize it's happening. But here's the truth: the people you surround yourself with will either lift you up or drag you down. There's no middle ground. Cutting contacts isn't about abandoning people, it's about prioritizing your life. It's about choosing who and what deserves your energy. And let's be honest, your energy is finite. You can't pour into everything and everyone. If you try, you'll end up empty. Some relationships serve a season, not a lifetime. That's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person to let go. It makes you wise. It shows that you value your purpose more than your comfort. Because let's face it, holding on to people who no longer align with your vision is easier than letting go. But easy doesn't lead to growth. Growth requires courage. It requires making the tough decisions that most people avoid. And one of those decisions is cutting ties with anything or anyone that no longer serves your higher self. This isn't about burning bridges. It's about recognizing when a bridge no longer leads to where you're going. It's about building new ones that align with your future instead of your past. You see, every relationship has an energy exchange. Some people fuel you, they inspire you, they challenge you to be better, but others drain you. They bring negativity, doubt, and drama into your life. If you don't cut those ties, they'll weigh you down. And here's the kicker: it's not just people. Sometimes it's habits, routines, or commitments that need to go. Maybe it's a job that's sucking the life out of you. Maybe it's a project that no longer aligns with your goals. Whatever it is, if it's not adding to your life, it's subtracting from it. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to prioritize your peace and your purpose. It means you're willing to do what it takes to create the life you deserve. But cutting contacts isn't just about saying goodbye. It's about saying hello to something greater. When you let go of what's holding you back, you make room for what will propel you forward. You create space for the right people and opportunities to enter your life. It's a process of evolution. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. Your goals, values, and vision have changed. So why would you expect your relationships to stay the same? Growth requires change, and change requires letting go. And let me tell you this: the right people will understand. The ones who truly care about you will support your growth, even if it means you're spending less time with them. Because real love isn't about possession, it's about freedom. So take a hard look at your life. Who or what is no longer serving you? Be honest, be courageous, and be willing to make the changes you know you need to make. Because your future depends on it. Energy flows where focus goes. Let me ask you this: where's your focus right now? Are you thinking about your goals, your dreams, your next move, or are you distracted by what's happening around you, the noise, the opinions, the unnecessary drama? Because here's the deal: energy flows where focus goes. What you focus on expands, and what you ignore diminishes. Focus is your greatest asset. It's the laser beam that cuts through distractions and makes the impossible possible. But most people don't even realize they're wasting it. They're focusing on things that don't matter, things that drain them instead of fueling them. And then they wonder why they're stuck, why they're not making progress. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you point at, it gets bigger and more powerful. So if you're focusing on problems, guess what? Your problems will grow. But if you focus on solutions, on opportunities, on the steps you can take to move forward, that's where your energy will go. That's where your breakthroughs will happen. But focus isn't just about what you think. It's about what you do. It's about saying no to distractions, to shiny objects, to anything that doesn't align with your goals. Because every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that matters. Let me tell you something, distractions are the death of dreams. They steal your time, your energy, and your potential. And the worst part, most distractions don't even feel like distractions. They feel like work. They feel productive. But deep down, you know they're not moving the needle. So how do you fix it? How do you reclaim your focus? You get clear on your priorities. You decide what matters most to you, and you commit to it with everything you've got. You eliminate anything that doesn't align with your vision. And you stop letting other people's priorities dictate your life. Focus requires discipline. It's not something that happens by accident. You have to train yourself to stay on track, to block out the noise, to say no to the things that don't matter. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because when you master your focus, you master your life. But focus isn't just about eliminating distractions. It's about creating momentum. It's about building habits and routines that keep you moving in the right direction. It's about stacking small wins every single day until they turn into massive success. And here's the beautiful part. The more you focus, the easier it gets. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the more unstoppable you'll be. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who've achieved incredible success. Do you think they got there by accident? No, they got there because they were laser focused on their goals. They didn't let distractions or excuses get in the way. They stayed the course no matter what. You can do the same. You have the same 24 hours in a day as anyone else. The difference is how you use them. Are you spending your time on things that move you closer to your dreams, or are you wasting it on things that don't matter? So today, I challenge you to take control of your focus. Decide what matters most. Cut out the noise. And pour your energy into the things that will make your dreams a reality. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life grows. Solitude builds resilience. Let me ask you something. How comfortable are you with being alone? For most people, the answer is not very. Solitude scares them. They fill every moment with noise, distractions, and other people because they can't bear to face themselves. But here's the truth. Solitude isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Why? Because solitude is where resilience is born. It's where you build the inner strength to handle whatever life throws at you. It's where you discover who you really are without the opinions, judgments, or expectations of others clouding your vision. When you're alone, you're forced to confront yourself. Your thoughts, your fears, your insecurities, they all come to the surface. And while that might sound terrifying, it's actually a gift, because once you confront those things, you can overcome them. Most people avoid solitude because it feels uncomfortable. They equate discomfort with weakness. But discomfort isn't weakness, it's growth. It's the sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone and into your power. Think about it. When do you feel the most resilient? Is it when everything's going perfectly, or is it when you face challenges and come out stronger on the other side? Resilience is built in the moments when you're tested. And solitude is the ultimate test. In solitude, you learn to rely on yourself. You realize that you don't need external validation or approval to feel whole. You find your own strength, your own voice, your own ways, your own power. And that's something no one can take away from you. But solitude isn't just about building resilience. It's about creating space for growth. When you're constantly surrounded by noise and distractions, there's no room for new ideas, insights, or breakthroughs. Solitude gives you that space. It's in solitude that you dream bigger, plan smarter, and execute better. It's where you connect with your vision and map out the steps to achieve it. It's where you find the clarity and focus to make things happen. And here's the thing, solitude isn't about being lonely. Loneliness is a lack of connection. Solitude is a connection with yourself. It's about finding peace and fulfillment within, rather than seeking it from others. When you embrace solitude, you become unshakable. You're no longer dependent on external circumstances or people to feel happy or successful. You create your own happiness, your own success, your own life. And the best part, when you emerge from solitude, you're stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever. You're ready to take on the world with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. So don't be afraid to spend time alone. Don't be afraid to step back, retreat, and reconnect with yourself. Solitude isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. Because in the silence of solitude, you'll find the strength to face anything. The power of no. Let's talk about a word most people are afraid to say no. It's short, it's simple. And yet, for so many of us, it's the hardest word to speak. Why? Because saying no feels like rejection. It feels like confrontation. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that truly matters. Think about your life right now. How many commitments are you juggling that you didn't really want to take on? How many times have you said yes to someone else's priorities while putting your own on hold? Every yes you give is a piece of your time, energy, and focus. And let me tell you, those things are not infinite. The power of no isn't about being selfish or shutting people out. It's about protecting your purpose. It's about guarding your time like the precious resource it is, because every yes comes with a cost. You need to decide if that cost is worth it. Here's the thing, most of us say yes because we don't want to disappoint people. We want to be liked, appreciated, and seen as dependable. But let me ask you this, how much of your potential are you willing to sacrifice to avoid disappointing others? Saying no is not about rejection, it's about redirection. It's about aligning your actions with your values and your goals. When you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to the things that will propel you forward. You're saying yes to your growth, your dreams, and your highest self. But here's the challenge, saying no requires courage. It requires setting boundaries and sticking to them. It requires being clear about your priorities and unapologetic about protecting them. And yes, it might upset some people. But let me tell you something, anyone who truly cares about you will respect your no. The power of no isn't just about refusing others, it's about refusing distractions, bad habits, and limiting beliefs. It's about saying no to the things that keep you stuck in mediocrity. Because here's the truth, every great achievement begins with a no. No to wasting time. No to negative influences. No to anything that doesn't align with your vision. The more you say no to the wrong things, the more space you create for the right things to enter your life. When you learn to say no, you reclaim control. You stop letting other people's agendas dictate your time. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You take the driver's seat in your life, steering it toward the destination you've chosen. But here's the beautiful part, the more you say no, the easier it gets. It's like a muscle. The first few times might feel awkward or uncomfortable, but with practice, it becomes second nature. And as you get better at saying no, you'll notice something incredible. Your life will start to align with your purpose. You'll have more time for the things that truly matter. You'll feel more energized and less overwhelmed. And you'll start to see real progress toward your goals. That's the power of no. So let me ask you this, what in your life do you need to say no to? What's draining your energy, stealing your focus, and holding you back from greatness? Be honest with yourself, make a list. And then start saying no. Because every time you say no to something unimportant, you're saying yes to the life you were meant to live. Rebirth through isolation. Picture this, a caterpillar retreats into its cocoon, seemingly vanishing from the world. For a while, nothing happens. It's quiet, still even lifeless. But inside that cocoon, something extraordinary is taking place. Transformation, growth, rebirth. And when the time is right, the caterpillar emerges not as the same creature, but as a butterfly ready to soar. This is the power of isolation. It's not about retreating forever or giving up on the world. It's about stepping back to transform yourself. It's about entering your own cocoon to reflect, realign, and reemerge stronger than ever. Isolation is where growth happens. It's where you strip away the distractions, the noise, and the expectations of others to focus entirely on yourself. It's not easy, it's not comfortable, but it's necessary. Because you can't grow into your future self while clinging to your past. Most people fear isolation because it feels lonely. But here's the thing, isolation isn't loneliness, it's solitude. And solitude is where you meet the person you were always meant to be. It's where you rediscover your strengths, your passions, and your purpose. In isolation, you gain perspective. You see your life from a higher vantage point, free from the day-to-day chaos. You identify what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. At first, it's overwhelming, but as you clear the space, you feel lighter, freer, more focused. But isolation isn't just about clarity, it's about transformation. It's about doing the inner work that most people avoid. It's about facing your fears, healing your wounds, and breaking through your limitations. Because real change doesn't happen on the surface, it happens deep within. And here's the truth: transformation takes time. It's not instant. It's not glamorous. It's messy, challenging, and sometimes painful. But it's worth it. Because when you commit to the process, you emerge on the other side as a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, and ready to take on the world. Isolation also teaches you self-reliance. It forces you to rely on your own strength and intuition instead of seeking validation or approval from others. It's in isolation that you realize you don't need anyone else's permission to pursue your dreams. But isolation isn't permanent. It's a phase, a season. Just like the butterfly eventually leaves the cocoon, you'll reemerge from your period of isolation ready to spread your wings. And when you do, you'll be unstoppable. Because the person who enters isolation is not the same as the person who comes out. You'll come out with a new perspective, a renewed sense of purpose, and a fire in your heart that nothing can extinguish. So don't fear isolation, embrace it. Step into your cocoon and trust the process. Trust that the discomfort is leading to growth. Trust that the stillness is leading to clarity. And when the time is right, you'll emerge not as the same person, but as the version of yourself you were always meant to be. Disconnection breeds freedom. Let's talk about connection, not the meaningful kind that fuels your soul, but the kind that chains you to expectations, obligations, and distractions. Disconnection isn't about running away or hiding. It's about cutting the cords that keep you tethered to things that no longer serve you. It's about creating space for true freedom to thrive. Think about it. How many things are you connected to right now that drain your energy? How many relationships, social media feeds, and endless notifications are pulling you in 100 different directions? These connections might feel necessary, but in reality, they're weights holding you down. Freedom doesn't come from having more, it comes from needing less. When you disconnect from the unnecessary, you reclaim your time, your focus, and your energy. You start living life on your terms, not someone else's. And let me tell you, that's where real power lies.